Hi everyone, welcome back to the London Football Show. Euro 2024 final kicking off in just under 2.5 hours. So we thought we'll do like a brief preview of the final and maybe briefly discuss how the tournament's gone and like any surprises or anything that we weren't expecting. But obviously the main thing is the final. So yeah, what do we think is gonna happen? Score predictions. Well, we sent in our score predictions, isn't it? I've gone 2-1 Spain. I hope I'm wrong, by the way. But yeah, I don't know. I just feel like Spain, they've been the best team this tournament. Obviously, the best team doesn't always win. Football doesn't always win, as we've seen in previous tournaments, both European Championships, cup competitions in general. But yeah, I think Spain will win it at the end of extra time, maybe. But yeah, I've gone 2-1. Go on,
Well,
James.
I'm
What do you
I'm
think?
I'm back in England because I backed them from the start. So I'm back in England to win, I think 2-1 as well. England to win 2-1. But I want to just go back and then to just the tournament as a whole hasn't been good. I want to put that on record. It's not been the best tournament for a long, long time. Too many teams defensive, too many teams working out how to play against the top teams. So it's very hard for the top teams to break them down. Um, I think Spain have been the only team, but then even though they've won all their 6 games, they just beat. I can't think who was their last group stage one. They won 1-0
Albania.
against Albania. So like, it's not been easy. It's not. They beat Italy 1-0, I think, as well in the group stage. So it's not been sort of as free flowing when you see Spain have won 6 games and people think all 6 games were brilliant. They weren't. The 2 or 3 of them were really good and they outplayed, but they had to come from behind against France, to win that game. So, I think England have got a chance, and England have been the only team that has grown in the tournament, albeit a lot of the fans are critical of Southgate. I'm not one of them. I said from the start, it's tournament football. It doesn't matter how you get there. The way you do it is you've got to still be in it to have a chance. We're still in it. We've played our 6 games. We're in the final. Job done. He learned it. He's done better in the semi-final with his substitutions. He didn't wait. He got Shaw on at half time. He then brought on the other two. The subs that he's brought on at various times have done well. But at the end of the day, if I'm predicting the final, you've got to predict England because that's what you want to happen, regardless of ability and how the teams are. You're back in England 2-1 in the final, but we're there and we're still in the tournament. There's 2 teams left in Spain, England. Bring it on.
Ross.
So I've gone for Spain 3, England 1. However, that's me speaking from the mind, not from the heart. Of course, we want England to win. I think the players deserve it, given what happened in the past few years as well. Certain players like Kane, they need this trophy, they deserve it. But yeah, I just think Spain have been quality. I think no one saw Spain were going to come in and just do what they did. But I think as soon as I saw them beat Croatia, I kind of knew, yeah, they're going to be in for a long run here. I think 4 clean sheets, I believe, in the tournament. As Dustin said, they've won all 6 of their games, regardless of how they won it. They still won it and they won it convincingly. Whereas with England, we've only won 2 games at full time. All the other games, it depends, or extra time. Yes, it is tournament football. Yes, we can get away. However, when you're looking at it on paper, going into this final, it's not exactly reassuring for any other England supporter or for anyone watching this game rooting for England. But yeah, I think it's going to be a good game. I hope England turn up. There's a lot of things going on, that's a mention. Southgate, the players, the mentality. Will they turn up? I guess we'll find out soon.
If England do win, who's been our best player in this tournament? Because we're just trying to work it out before we started recording. And for me personally, it's gonna go to someone in our like sort of defensive third because I don't really see like Saka, for example. He's had his moments here and there, like Switzerland game, for example, but none of our attackers have been sort of consistent throughout the
You
tournament.
can
When you
see
look
that
at like,
you
yeah,
could say that about Foden as well. Foden's a bit like Saka. He's had his moments,
yeah,
Foden, but not
yeah.
consistent.
But when you look at someone like when you look at like Yamal, Nico Williams for Spain, for example, especially Yamal throughout the tournament, consistent, sort of obviously not like the 9 out of 10s, but he's been sort of a steady 7 and above pretty much throughout the whole tournament. So when you look at, for example, Spain, it's easier to sort of identify, like you can say, like, yes, him, for example, in out of the attackers specifically, because
So
usually
what about for England then? So what about for England? Who's
for
your
England, for me, it's no attacker. I don't know. I'm talking like Jordan Pickford's,
Yeah, you mentioned
Stones and Gahey have been solid at the back, for example. Rice has been, barring maybe the odd moment here or there, he's sort of been relatively sort of somewhat consistent, even though he got caught on the ball for the goal against Holland, against the Dutch. And I think there was another game as well where maybe he could have done better with one of the goals in the previous round. I don't know. So I'm looking at Pickford, Stones, and Mark Gahey for me, one of them three, where they've been sort of ever present almost. Because Cons has come in like to make it a back three, like to see out games, but I would probably give it to Pickford if we win the tournament. But I don't know if
yeah,
he will
that's a
get.
good shout. I think that's a good shout. I think Kyle Walker could play a big part tonight with his pace defensively. But yeah, you couldn't single out someone going forward for England because not one of them's had a consistent sort of period over the time, you know. But I'd be happily, I'd be happy for Pickford. You know, he saved one of the penalties in the penalty shootout. He's made crucial saves at the end. He's made some saves look good. There was a save against Van Dijk with Holland that he made look even better than what it was. But he's done all right. Although we have to be careful here. He nearly got embarrassed like Seaman did in the World Cup against Brazil with Shaqiri's corner. Is it Shaqiri in Switzerland where he bent it in and it nearly went in, hit the crossbar. So that he's but yeah, I don't know. There's not. I can't build a case. You could build a case for the youngster from Man United, but I think he was a bit poor, really. I don't think Declan Rice has had his best few games for England, so he needs a big performance tonight. Jude's come in with a few standout moments, but sometimes goes missing and doesn't look as fit. You know, he said at the end of the semi-final he was glad we scored at the end because he was absolutely knackered. He couldn't go extra time, and I thought, well, you're quite young. He should be able to last a lot longer. But I'll agree with you, Sion. Pickford maybe Pickford or Stones or Walker.
Ross.
All right, this is where my bias kicks in. Kobe Mainoo. I mean, if I have to explain myself, then fair enough. But I think
I called him as well. He came in. Did he come in on the third game or second game?
third game
to start.
Yeah.
Say again.
I think it was the third game he came in to start.
Yeah. I think go on. Give us your reasoning though.
I think he was brilliant against Netherlands. Literally dictated their pitch, dominated it. I'm sorry, but he was pulling in when Rice wasn't. He made up for it. The way he was just on the ball, covered the pitch entirely, almost like Kante-esque in my opinion. At a young age as well, just to come in like that. Prior to this, no real experience at the big stage. Only played one season of real football, and even then he's only played 20 games with United. I think he's done really well. The maturity shows throughout his pitch and off the pitch. So for me, that's just bias. At least one of England's best players. But I do agree with Sion. If we're looking at him throughout the tournament and he's also come clutch for us, I think Pickford you do have to put Pickford's name there. I've always said it, England Pickford's a different breed to Everton's one. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's the patriarchy in him just comes out, but he just performs at a different level. And I think someone mentioned it, or the commentators were talking about how every single shootout we've been in, he saved a penalty, regardless of whether we won it or not. So he has come clutch for us. Saving that penalty against Switzerland led us to win the penalty shootout. We've always had a bad track record against other teams internationally when playing shootouts. So the fact that we have won a few in the past against Colombia, against Switzerland, is good. Even if we bring up the final against Italy 3 years ago, he saved a penalty. Unfortunately, Saka just didn't bury it and take it into sudden death. We could have been saying Pickford was, potentially played the tournament for the last tournament. Had he saved that penalty and England went on to win it, who knows?
I mean, what's funny is that, but like when you actually look at his actual international career, like it's funny because on paper he's nowhere near amongst like top 10 keepers, like English goalkeepers of all time. But for England specifically, his England CV is probably like top 3. He's probably top three. When you look at, like, if we win this tournament today, or even if we don't, for example, let's say we did come runners up, he would have two runners up sort of finishes and been, as you said, been good in both Euros he's played in. He's probably been one of our most consistent goalkeepers when you look at like international football in specifically. Obviously, club football is completely different, but just specifically England, he has performed well for us throughout pretty much his England career.
No, I agree. So we're talking about the player of the tournament for England. What would be your starting 11 then for the final?
Pickford, Shaw, Gahey, Stones. I wouldn't change any of the centre backs. Walker, Rice, Mainu, Foden, and then Saka. Oh, is this what I would start?
Yeah.
I mean, it's impossible, but Saka, Gordon, Watkins.
So you wouldn't have Bellingham?
Nah, Bellingham, bench him as well. I'll bench Bellingham as well, man. Like you know what, Bellingham.
You're benching Trippier, Bellingham, and Kane.
Yeah. Stone's captain.
Shaw, Gordon, and Watkins. Okay.
Yeah, that's what I would start. But I know obviously he's not gonna do that. I'm surprised Gordon has not seen more minutes in this tournament though, because realistically, he's probably, when you look at form for club, he's probably our best winger last season.
Yeah, but like I keep telling you people, club football is different to international football.
It is. And Gordon, when he came off he was our best player against Slovenia, even though you only saw about 5 minutes. We only looked like scoring when he played, for example, but obviously 5 minutes, he don't have time to do anything.
You could say that about Tony. Ivan Tony.
True, you can, but Watkins is better than him.
How many people on Wednesday night when he brought Watkins on were crying out for Tony?
I wasn't.
Yeah, but how many other people? That's what I'm saying, Sion.
Yeah,
it's all well and good saying that now when Watkins scores the winner, but if he's going to bring a striker on, people would expected it to have been Tony ahead of Watkins. But
I wanted Watkins. You know the Denmark game.
Southgate knew what he was doing. Southgate knew what he was doing.
Nah.
Yeah,
I can't agree on that, sir. Sorry. Southgate, he does not know what he's doing. If he wins it, it's great. I'm happy for him. But going forward, he's not the man for the job, in my opinion.
So who is?
I'm saying if he loses tonight,
who
sir.
Is the man?
If he
who
loses
is the man going forward to replace Southgate? Who is the man going forward to replace Southgate? We're going to have to replace him, irrespective of what happens tonight, because he's going. We know that. Who is the man then?
Is he going though? If we win, I think he's staying, man.
Sion, who are we replacing him with?
Tuchel. Who else is available, man?
And they're going to want to do international football.
No, we'll have to try it. We have to try. We have to ask.
Okay, yeah. We can't.
I've not heard
doesn't
much.
mean we have to meet it.
I don't hear much with like England sort of. Obviously, club football we hear like sort of when managers are like linked to jobs. I don't hear us.
You know the two managers the FA will go to. Right, it will be Graham Potter or Eddie Howe. Yeah, they're the two.
I'll take Howe then. I'll take Howe.
For me personally, again, I know you don't agree with club football and international football. I have more reassurance and evidence from Potter and Howe than they did with Southgate.
I don't think Southgate gets like when Howe got Newcastle into the top 4. I don't think Southgate does that.
100%.
I'll take Eddie Howe. If they're the two candidates, I'll take. If you told me then, I'll take Howe basically. Because I think we'll be more expansive at least.
I'm quite happy for you to say that, but then Eddie Howe's got to do what Southgate's done at minimum.
But
yeah,
get you to finals, get you to semi-finals. It's all well and good us playing better football and all that, but getting knocked out of the quarter-final 4-3.
No, of course not. I'm not.
Oh no, yeah, not no.
Yeah. So you can't. That's my point. You can't have it both ways. Yeah.
That's
both ways.
Southgate's been in the job for 4 years now. Is it 4 years? Sorry, 6 years.
Seven.
Semi-finals, final, quarterfinals, potentially another loss. Yes, I get it. International football is every 2 years. It doesn't come often. However, just because England have not won anything since '66 doesn't mean we should accept mediocrity or substandard.
Bearing in mind, we've had some of the easiest draws we've had in tournaments, all in this sort of last 5-6 years.
Tournament, we've had the easiest draw. Given that Italy was not.
We've had better squads. with allegedly better managers like Capello,
But
Sven-Göran Eriksson, and all that, and we've got nowhere.
but
And we've got
with that
nowhere with golden generation. We've got nowhere. I'd rather be in the tournament tonight and play in the final, how we've played this tournament, than be knocked out at a quarter final.
oh yeah, oh 100%,
I
100%.
don't,
But
get it.
We're just questioning Southgate's bottle when it comes to the final, or his ability to
Because
get.
that's my worry. That's my worry with Sanford. If he loses tonight, people will be saying stupid things like, "Oh, he can get us to finals, but he just can't do that final thing. He just can't do that
That's
final
important.
thing."
no, but you know
Yeah.
what I would say with
Yeah, but not in the context of where England have been for the last 50 years.
But then if we speak about that, I should still be happy with Solskjaer then at United.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
I'm
You
saying
wouldn't-
as an England fan or as a general fan speaking, I should not be looking at what we've achieved and think, oh, I should be happy with this or I should be content. Realistically, if we lose tonight and we do lose to a better Spain team, I can accept that. However, I can't look past the Euro 2020 final. That was us for the taking. Had we won that one and we lost today,
oh yeah, I would say fair enough.
I'll put my
I'd
hands
say
up and
fair
say
enough.
fair enough. Potentially, Southgate's going to be 0-2 in finals. That I can't look past, unfortunately. When you look at England's squad, the Liga's best player this season, Bundesliga's best player this season, the Premier League's best player this season. Southgate's not got the best out of them. We can all agree. Bellingham has not performed today, but this season or this tournament. Kane, fair enough, he's not the goal, but Southgate doesn't know how to get the best out of him. Foden, if you look at it in like for like Euro 2021, he had an amazing tournament. This tournament, he's not been the greatest. So if he does lose tonight, I don't think it's all on him. However, he will be accountable for tonight and also the previous tournaments.
You know what with obviously our previous sort of teams, right? Like obviously golden generation, like the like Terry's, the Lampards, Gerrards, even with all those players, right? There were other nations that were better than us. Spain 2010, they're the best international team I've ever seen play, and that's like Lampard, Gerrard, and that in their prime. But Spain were unstoppable. Even 06, I looked like Italy that went and won it. Buffon and all these guys. Buffon, you cannot come second in the Ballon d'Or that year. Like best goalkeeper in world football. Their defense, Pirlo's, and all those guys in their prime. Germany, all these guys. So when we've had all these other like these like on paper world-class teams, there were at least 3-4 other nations that were as strong, if not stronger than us and better. So for those teams, obviously they should have still won something as well. Maybe you could argue, but now when I look at this era, the strength around us is nowhere near what it was back then. For example, if that team, if our golden generation were playing now, 100%, I think there's no if that team played in this generation and didn't win anything, then I'll say, well, we might as well just pack up, fold the international team then, because we ain't winning nothing then if that team weren't going to win in this era. But that's what I would say in regards to our sort of past failures. Well, mainly in the 2000s, not pre-90, like pre-2000, for example.
Sorry to just interrupt quickly, right? I was just quickly thinking about France's also campaigns in the previous tournaments. They've always made it somewhat to the finals or the semis, and they haven't won it, but they won the 2018. However, I feel like for French people or French fans, we will definitely be questioning Deschamps' ability had he not won the 2018.
Oh, 100%. He'll be gone. I'm telling you now, Deschamps, if he didn't win that 2018 World Cup, he would have been sacked after Switzerland Euro 2021. He was gone. He was gone. They wouldn't have cared about, he made the World Cup final. Gone.
But as you said, sir, had Deschamps won 2022 World Cup, 2 for 2. That's amazing. No one's going to care if they've gone back their shit house there, however they did it. That is the reality. If you think about it, France has been the best nation, I would say, on average or across the past 8 years.
Yeah.
2016.
Well, European nation, obviously. European. Overall, Argentina, basically, with them.
Lost the 2016 final, bottled it against Switzerland in the Euros. Could have potentially played better for this tournament. They could have been better than what Spain did in terms of the 2008 Euros, 2010 World Cup, and the 2012 Euros. They could have been part of that golden generation.
And also, you know what I say, right? Obviously, people might disagree, but even like the Nations League, for example, like Spain obviously won the Nations League last year. That if Spain go on and win this, right, it wouldn't surprise me if they come out and say like that Nations League to get them back into the habit of winning would be maybe the stepping stone, for example, give them the confidence to go on. Because you usually start somewhere. Something like in club football, Nations League's probably like equivalent to like a Carabao Cup, for example. I've seen managers Ferguson, they used when Ferguson built his sort of last elite team, that three-peat in 06 to 09, it started with a League Cup against Wigan. Like even with the Nations League, for example, we've not even been able to win that. Sure, like we got knocked out to the Holland. I think Holland beat us in a semi-final in 2019, and then Portugal went and beat them. So we've had other chances aside from even Euros and World Cup to just get over the line something, and then that could if we won that Nations League, would have beaten Italy. Would have beaten Italy. If we
I'm
won
going
that
to go
Nations
back. I want to go back to my point. I've let you boys speak, which is good, and I agree with all you're saying. I agree with everything you're saying, yeah. But the bottom line is, there's people out there thinking England are going to get these elite managers. The FA aren't going to do it. They're going to go for Potter or Howe, yeah, which I've got no problem with. And you've made a point that you'll take Howe over whoever, and Howe's got top four and all this and all that, and he'll do better. That's fine. But whoever comes in, if it's Eddie Howe, Graham Potter, or Tuchel, whoever, they've got to get England to the semi-finals and finals of every tournament for the next 6 to 8 years. I don't care who they play. I don't care how they play the football. I don't care if they win every group stage 4-0 or whatever. But if they don't get us to the semi-finals and finals, we are going to go backwards. People need to understand this is the best time for England fans over the last, because we're going into tournaments. Yes, we want to play pretty football. Yes, we want to have, everyone's got an opinion of who should start and who shouldn't start. But yet everyone's opinion is out there. But Southgate, who's chose it, has got us to these semi-finals and finals. So I don't care if he wins it or not tonight. Whoever takes over has to do the same. And if they don't, then it will prove my theory is that sometimes, like unfortunately, some West Ham fans that live in a little bit of a cloud of like, they're going to, eat their words if the new West Ham manager doesn't do what David Moyes has done.
Oh, yeah, I'm saying, what's his name? Lopetegui. Lopetegui ain't doing as good as David Moyes. Yeah, West Ham fans, yeah, you guys that wanted Moyes out, watch. You guys watch. Moyes won the trophy. Moyes is West Ham top 3 manager of all time. Top 3 manager of all time.
And that's what we're saying about Southgate. He's got us to 2 finals since 1966. Similar to West Ham's pathway. West Ham don't play pretty football. Moyes is set. We know that. And you can't tell me, and I know the bloke, and I'll tell you this, we wouldn't be in this situation 6-7 years later if Sam Allardyce was still the manager. I'll tell you that now. I'll tell you that now. So let's just for once, not you two, but I'm talking to people that want to listen to this, or people that want to support England when they're throwing plastic cups at Southgate at the end of the group stage. If we win tonight and you're celebrating, let's just celebrate. And if we lose, we lose. But we get to the final. Let's not slate him for not winning it. Let's give him some sort of credit in the hope that he does move on. He does the right thing. Win or lose, steps down, and whoever comes in next, then let's get behind that manager. But I'll be surprised if I'm saying we've got to the 2026 World Cup semi-final, final. We've got to the 2028 Euro. I'll be surprised because we've got to be careful because these players, as much as he's got a good connection with these players, Southgate, and he's got them playing for each other and he's got everything, it hasn't gelled as what people would have expected. It hasn't played the fluidity going forward that has been expected. We've just spent 5 minutes talking about the player of the tournament for England. And we've all agreed it's likely to be a defender. And that sums it up. That sums it up. We haven't been... So something's not quite right. And they might all support each other. And Southgate made the point, and a lot of people agree with it, and I do. And they do show it. It doesn't matter who you are in the squad. You've got to be ready when you step on that pitch. And if you step on that pitch for 90 minutes, you're ready. If you step on it for 90 seconds, you're ready. And yes, they are, but there's 1 or 2 that haven't been playing with the freedom that I don't think Kane is fit. I think he's injured. I think Bellingham is knackered. I don't think he's fully fit. And I don't think we're getting the best out of Declan Rice this tournament, which is a big surprise for me. That's your problem. If all 3 of them played at their peak, the likes of Foden, Saka would even develop even more. And then the players coming on, as a West Ham fan, fantastic. He brought Jared Bowen on the first couple of games. Fantastic. Gave him game time. But I think Gordon's had a better season.
Yeah. Hey,
I think
Gordon, man, he's been treated unfairly,
Tony came on
man.
and played well. Tony came on and played well. Took his penalty well in the shootout. Watkins, top goal scorer. Well, I don't know if he's top goal scorer in the Premier League, but he's certainly the top goal scorer in the Premier League if you discount penalties. 19 goals in the Premier League, and not one of them was a penalty.
Yeah.
I just think we need to just sort of relax, slow down, take a breath. It's tournament football. In a tournament, you grow in the tournament. And there's how many teams in the tournament at the beginning?
What was it, 32?
Say 32. There's only 2 left. There's only 2 left, and England is still one of them. Can we say that in 2 years' time for the World Cup? Can we say that in 4 years' time for the next Euros? So let's just embrace it and enjoy it. Anyway, Sion, you're desperate to try and prove your point about your German Young Player of the Year. So do you want to try and sort of get him into this conversation?
No,
He's not. He shouldn't even be nowhere near player of the tournament, young or old. Because
No. After the only young player that's been better than him is Yamal. Is Yamal. But yeah, no, Yamal's been clear of like,
he turned 17 yesterday. He turned 17 yesterday.
Like, up until the quarterfinals, I was cooking. Up until the quarterfinal, Musiala was, but especially in the Yamal, the France game. The France game was obviously biggest game of the tournament to date, and Yamal clutch in that game, like one of the best goals. Probably going to be goal of the tournament. Probably that was what 40 yards, screamer. And that's a big game as well. France.
The one
Yamal goal against France. That was a banger. So with one Spain, if Spain got knocked out,
I don't want to sort of put a dampener on that, but I think personally the goal of the tournament was Watkins. If you watch it from the very beginning with Pickford.
Yes.
The way England moved
the build-up.
I think it's the best team goal.
Yeah, that's the best. Best team goal. Individual.
I saw a clip on it. The build-up was amazing. Like the
way
the ball through.
it was.
The ball through to Palmer from Rice, I think, was
the in between the lines, and then Palmer sort of like on the half turn almost, and then slides it through.
Right. This young Spaniard, 16 years old, turned 17 yesterday. An outstanding footballer. But is the occasion going to get to him? I don't know. I doubt it. They've got the other youngster on the other side of the Spanish team, which would do well. I think Spain will have on paper too much because their players are playing. I think England have more or less the same on paper, but England aren't performing. But it's 90 minutes, could go extra time, penalties. It's a one-off final. Who knows what's going to happen? But I don't like the stadium it's being played in. Berlin is another one with a running track around it.
Yeah. Is that Barca Juve 2015 Champions League final? Isn't it? That's it.
It needs to be at Dortmund. It needs to be at Dortmund or Munich, where you're enclosed. You're like 2 miles. It's like being at the London Stadium. Although I do like the London Stadium.
I've got a quick question about Yamal, mostly for James. Obviously, you've seen more football than us. Where does he rank sort of amongst like 16-year-olds or like these players this young?
I have one rule. I could go as far back as Pele, Bobby, all them, right? Jimmy Greaves as a youngster. But I only could talk about players I've seen play live. Okay. I don't, because I can't stand all that, because I can't make an opinion on players I've seen on video. You don't get the real the real thing. But a young player, there's been tournaments. There's been tournaments where you've had young players like a Gascoigne in the early 90s. Was young when he came ahead for England. You've had sort of other players across the board, but Thierry Henry was young. Van Basten. There's a few, but not as young as what he is. You look at even like Michael Owen, Wayne Rooney, when they're doing well for England, they weren't 16.
Yeah.
They weren't 16. He's in year 12 in the English money. He's doing A levels.
Yamal was 12 when COVID first broke out. He was 12. I don't know if you saw Rice's interview when someone told him about that, and he was doing a interview on it.
Well, apparently you can't. There's only so much money you can earn up until 17 when you live in Spain. So they're probably paying him someone else or something.
Has he got the exemption as well? Like, surely, because about this whole thing, he can't play past 9 p.m. or something. Surely that's cleared now, right?
70 minutes or something. I don't know. Yeah, someone's talking to me today.
Surely they've sorted that out now. I haven't checked, but surely they.
Well, I only hope he can go in the dressing room after the game And he hasn't, like, because obviously he's got his own dressing room being 16, 17. But it'd be interesting. But no, it's a good point. Is there any youngsters as young as 16?
No, I think he's clear.
Mm,
The thing is, it's not only just
For me,
international.
in my mean, yeah,
He's
that's why I asked James,
carrying
because obviously you've seen more
Barcelona.
than us. But in like my time watching football, he's the best 16-year-old I've ever seen.
But you know what
Even
pains me?
just
The
watching
fact
Man
that he's
City.
at Barcelona. Get him else somewhere else, man. He doesn't. Barca doesn't deserve him. But that's a different story for a different day.
All I know
Yeah.
is we've got the Copa America as well.
Yes.
Argentina and Colombia, 1 o'clock this in the morning, our time, and they brought out the Messi photo with with that youngster
Yeah.
from Spain. So Messi should be now made a saint as he created a miracle. But anyway, Saint Messi, Saint Lionel Messi, have it as that. But
Uh,
no,
but
Yeah. Nothing
yeah,
else to say.
I'll wrap it up now. I'm seeing what less than a
yes,
minute left on the recording.
Think
So,
Pedri's
yep.
not playing the final.
Go on.
If Manu does carry England to the championships, he's clear of Pedri. I'll leave it at that. Not Pedri, sorry, Rodri.
On that note, everyone, take care, like, subscribe, and share. I'll see you all again soon.